Hi guys, this is Thunder E from Booredatwork.com, and today we're doing the review of the NEC Terrain. The Terrain is a rugged, waterproof, dustproof smartphone with a full QWERTY keyboard from NEC. It's NEC's first device in a while, and it's available exclusively on the AT&T network. As you can see here, I've dunked it in water, and this is not a water resistance device. This is actually waterproof. And it's been in water actually for a while here. Now this device is powered by a dual core processor. It's got 8 gigs of internal storage, got a gig of RAM. It's running Android 4.0, and again it's got the physical QWERTY keyboard and a lot of other features, so we'll show you that in a second. So let's take this out of our little water bowl, set the water aside so we don't spill that around, and let's take a closer look at the NEC Terrain. So the Terrain, as I mentioned, has a full QWERTY keyboard, as you can see here, similar to what you would find with the BlackBerry Q10. The keyboard is nice. It's got a flush keyboard. It has 2 points on the F and the J buttons, so you can find your location around the keyboard. This is a 5-row keyboard, and functions pretty well. You've got a 3.5-inch display, touchscreen display here. On the sides, you do have your power button. You've got, of course, your micro USB port, which is enclosed, your headphone port, which is also enclosed on the top, and then you've got your volume rocker and a camera button. So you've got enclosures, and you've got all these different buttons here for your device. Ensures that everything is closed and sealed tightly. Now the battery bay at the back actually has a lock on it, so I'm just going to clean some more water off so that I can actually open this up. So you can see here it's got lock and pass. If I unlock this and pull this open, I see the housing for the battery here. Now underneath that you have your micro USB port, your micro SD card slot, as well as your micro SIM slot. So this also houses a 2500 milliamp battery. And you can see the enclosure itself. It's pretty tight. Make sure that your stuff is sealed there pretty nicely, and all you have to do is just drop it down and lock. So let's take a look at what we have in terms of operating system for your Terrain. So once you turn it on, you can either double tap on the camera icon to launch the camera, or double tap to unlock the device. And this is running stock Android. Now if we get in there and go into the settings, you can also see that you've got on-screen buttons for your home, back, as well as your multitask, which is something I found quite interesting, considering this has a lot of physical buttons around the device. You have this whole space below, which I felt that at least NEC should have had physical buttons there, because it would be much easier to navigate, especially since you might, you might use this underwater, or if water splashes on your screen, which would be harder to actually navigate. Now in terms of version of Android, going to our settings here, let's take a closer look, see what we have. As I mentioned, this is running Android 4.0.4. No idea when this will be updated to Android 4.2, but it still runs very well. It's very smooth. You also will note that this is actually a 4G device and not a 4G LTE device, so you don't have LTE speeds on this smartphone. But I can tell you that in terms of functionality, it actually works pretty well. You will notice the slowdowns between LTE and 4G, but if you're looking for a device that is solid and you can use on the road, especially if you're going out camping in the summer, that kind of stuff, this actually works well for you. So in terms of its rugged ability, we did a quick test in our dryer to ensure that this is a rugged and solid device. So let's take a look at that. Alright, so our Terrain is also known as a military 801 device, meaning it is shockproof. So the easiest way to test this is to toss it into the dryer, which we usually do for all our hardcore tests of this device. And let's turn this on. We'll keep it on for a few minutes, actually maybe just a minute. but you know, you can hear it bounce around in there, up and down, left and right, and we'll see how well this thing handles. You know, so far, so good. It's handled pretty well. So let's see if it survives the shock of it bouncing around in there. So here's our terrain, and let's turn this on. Still works. So we're back here again. We've seen our terrain in action in the dryer. We've seen it in water. It's a solid device. I do like the physical keyboard, which is nice. It's a good idea. We've seen other devices like the Galaxy S4 Active, which uses a touch screen, and it's, you know, you simply know once your screen is wet, you can't actually navigate on the screen. So having the physical keyboard is a good idea. The one downside, of course, it doesn't have physical buttons for your Android buttons, which I thought was a mistake here. I think, you know, if NEC is looking to make more devices like the Terrain in the future, I think physical buttons for your home menu and your back buttons should be present, which will allow for easier navigation, especially after you spill water on the device or mud or whatever it is, you know, since this is an all-terrain smartphone. It's running Android 4.0, which is not the latest version of Android, but it's still comparable to most applications, so you'll be fine using this. The only thing I noticed is Instagram, you don't have the video feature on there because you're not running Android 4.2. But other than that, it works very well. You have the camera application, which we'll have some video for you so you guys can take a look at that, and as well as some photos at the end of this video. But that camera is a 5-megapixel camera in the rear and does a decent job. You also got a front-facing camera here, which you can toggle to, and we'll just show you guys quickly how it looks. But it's got a decent camera, nothing fantastic, but it does a solid job. So overall, the NEC Terrain is a solid, rugged device. If you're one who works at a construction site, if you go camping a lot, if you're outdoors, and if you're looking for a smartphone and not a feature phone that has, you know, the latest capabilities of a smartphone on the market, and also it can survive the elements, then this is a device for you. So if you guys have any questions or any comments, let us know. Don't forget to subscribe to all our pages on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. It's all Booredatwork with 2 O's. So this is Thunder E saying thank you, and always enjoy your entertainment. Camera quality of the NEC here, and got 5 guys. It records at 720p, so I'm not going to show you guys much. Just kind of pan around, give you building 1995, staples, for about 20 seconds or so. It's decent, nothing spectacular, but just wanted to share that with you guys.